I don't know what's going on in Libya. I haven't been there in a while. But Muammar Gaddafi has always been my friend. And treason, the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government.
The coalition said destroying Gaddafi was not their goal. Then why bomb his palaces? Now some officials have claimed that eliminating him was in fact their goal. Who gave them that right?
Superpowers have interests, complicated interests, and they use the interests, they use the Security Council, they use the power of the United Nations to protect their interests. And these terrorize, intimidated the third world. The third world is terrified and being terrorized and living under the fear of terror. The Security Council, ever since it was established in 1949, did not provide us with security, but provided us, on the contrary, terror and sanctions. As you know, that the United Nations was established and founded by 3 countries were against the Germany at the time. The United Nations that we have today is different, but the United Nations it is the countries or the nations that were come together against Germany during the Second World War. These countries constituted or made a council, named after Security Councils, and gave member states to its own members and granted the veto. We were not present at the time. And the United Nations was tailored according to these 3 countries and wanted from us to wear the clothes or the suit that was tailored against Germany. This is the real substance and contents of the United Nations as it was founded 40 years or 60 years ago. And if there is any aggression by one country against another after the 45, after the establishment of this United Nations, if there is any aggression against any country, the United Nations altogether should deter and stop this aggression. Democracy is not for the rich or for the richer or for the one who terrorizes us or for the one who is more powerful than us should have democracy. No, the higher world or the upper world should be the all nations at equal footing. The Security Council should do this and that according to the rules and the orders of the United Nations. These are the United Nations who are all, including all the members of the world, and not the Security Council, which include only 10 member states. How can we be happy about the world peace and security if the 4 countries or 10 countries are controlled by the whole world? We are 190 nations and countries, and we are like the Hyde Park. I mean, we just speak and nobody is implementing our decisions. We are just like a decor. You are made like a decor. You are like a Hyde Park. You are worthless. I mean, without any real substance. It's just a corner speaker like the speakers of the Hyde Park corner. No more, no less. The other point that is sensitive, the quarters of the United Nations. Please, can I have your attention? Please, can I have your attention? All of you came across the Atlantic, crossing the Atlantic Oceans, the Asian continent, or the African continent, to reach this place. Why? Is this the Jerusalem? Is this the Vatican? Is this Mecca? All of you are tired, having jet lag, suffering from jet lag, tired, had sleepless night, and very tired, and physically speaking you are very low. One just arrived now, flying 20 hours, and then you want him to make a speech and talk about this one. All of you are asleep, all of you are tired. It is clear that all of you are lacking the energy because of having to travel a long journey. Why do we that? We shall not resort to the military force unless it is a common interest. This is the preamble which we were happy and we signed, and we joined the United Nations because we wanted the charter to be like that. It says that the armed forces only use it when it is a common interest to all nations. But after that, what happened? 65 wars broke out after the establishment of the United Nations and after the establishment of the Security Councils, and after this establishment, 65, and the victims are millions more than the victims of the Second World War. Are these wars and the aggressions and the force that was used, the power in the 65 was in the interest of the common interest of all of us? No, it was in the interest of one country or 3 countries or 4 countries or 1 country, but it was not in the interest of all the nations. We are not committed to obey the rules or the resolutions of the Security Councils, which in this formation, because it is undemocratic and just, and no one can force us to be a member of the Security Councils and to obey or adhere to resolutions or the orders given by the Security Councils. Either we have to try ourselves, either we do the right thing or whether we have a new thing. This is not a normal meeting. This is not a normal gathering. This is, even my son Obama said that. He said this is a historical one. This is not a normal gathering. This is not a normal one.
You gonna hear me today. I was in Iraq 3 days before the bombs fell in '91. There were Muslim Sunni mosques. There were Shia mosques. There were Christian churches and Jewish temples and synagogues. And even under Saddam Hussein, there was peace among them. Isn't that right, Brother Baghdadi? But when America went in, under the guise that he had weapons of mass destruction, did they find any? So what was shock and awe about? You want to bring Gaddafi before the International Criminal Court? What about Bush? What about Rumsfeld? What about a government that lied to the American people and caused the lives of hundreds of thousands to be lost?
Why there was any reason to invade Iraq? Because it is mysterious, ambiguous, and we may face the same destiny. Why did we invade Iraq? The invasion in itself is a serious violation of the UN Charter. and we should open the file and how we give the right to a country that is a member state of the United Nations to go and wage a war against a country and take the president of such a country and take him as a criminal of war and put him in prison. Who would accept that? This may be repeated, and we should not be quiet, and we should make investigations, and we should, each one of us may face the same destiny. Who sentenced to death the president of Iraq? Is there an answer to that? We have the right, we are ready to fight, we are ready to defend ourselves, and we have the right to live dignified under the sun on the earth, and they have already tested us, and we can put up to test.
We've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq. Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
So go through the countries again?
Well, starting with Iraq, then Syria and Lebanon, then Libya, then Somalia and Sudan, and then back to Iran.
نتآمر على بعضنا. احنا مخابراتنا نتآمر على بعضنا، ما تحمي فينا من العدو. نحن عدو لبعض، وعدو العربي صديق للعربي الآخر. ويا ريت هالشدة اللي استخدموا فيها وهالحدية ضد بعضنا استخدموها ضد العدو.
We must not tolerate this regime using military force against its own people.
Others say it's about oil.
The only reason they're interested with Libya is about the oil. You'd think we'd be in Iraq if the major export there was broccoli.
But some are convinced intervention in Libya is all about currency, specifically Gaddafi's plan to introduce the gold dinar, a single African currency made from gold, a true sharing of the wealth.
It's one of these things that you have to plan almost in secret, because as soon as you say you're going to change over from the dollar to something else, you're going to be targeted.
Gaddafi didn't give up. In the months leading up to the military intervention, he called on African and Muslim nations to join together to create this new currency that would rival the dollar and euro. They would sell oil and other resources around the world only for gold dinars. It's an idea that would shift the economic balance of the world. Countries' wealth would depend on how much gold they have, not how many dollars they trade. And Libya has 144 tons of gold.
Any move such as that would certainly not be welcomed by the power elite today who are responsible for controlling the world's central banks. So yes, that would certainly be something that would cause his immediate dismissal and the need for other reasons to be brought forth for removing him from power.
تجي قوة أجنبية تحتل دولة عربية وتشنق قرايصها واحنا نتفرج عليهم ونضحك. تحقيق في مقتل صدام حسين. قيادة عربية بالكامل تقتل تشنق في المشانق واحنا نتفرج. لماذا؟ وممكن الدور جاي عليكم كلكم.
Production.